If you want cheap Microsoft points and game codes, check out g2a.com, link is in the description below.
Hey guys, it's Melvin7 here, and today I'm bringing you my BPL predictions, match day 33. And yeah, last week I think I gained 2 points on the Mystery C because there wasn't very many games. We predicted similar scores, but I did get the Newcastle result exactly correct. I said 3-1, that is what it finished. So now the scores are 133 to me and 141 to the Mystery C. So I'm 8 behind. Let's catch up in the final 5 weeks. This is a really long episode, so I'm not going to do as much analysis of the games. I'm just going to give my predictions as quickly as I can. There's 12 games. Let's kick it off. So starts off with a banger, to be honest. We've got Southampton versus Spurs. Very, very similar. I think they're 6th and 7th respectively. They're fighting for Europa League and a very slim chance of Champions League. Both on in amazing form, but it's going to be a very interesting game. I can't split the sides. I reckon this is going to be an end-to-end game. I'm going to say 2-2. In the next game, we've got Burnley up against Leicester. Another cracker there. Relegation contenders. Obviously, Leicester 3 in a row. They look as though they're starting to avoid the drop, basically. Burnley, on the other hand, are bottom of the league, and if they lose this, they're effectively down. And I reckon they are going to lose this. I reckon it's going to be close, but I think Leicester will edge it 1-0. In the next game, we've got Palace going up against Hull. Alan Pardew suffered a defeat at the hands of West Brom, losing 2-0 last week. Hull, on the other hand, they haven't been amazing. I think last week they didn't play though, and yeah, this is another relegation contender for Hull, especially. Palace should be out of it by now. I think Pardew will turn it around. He'll win after his side lost against West Brom. They were a little unlucky, so I'm going to say it's going to be 2-0 to Crystal Palace. In the next game, we've got Newcastle against Swansea. Newcastle's protest, the boycott, still got a bigger attendance than the Etihad, I believe, which, you know, Premier League champions, etc. No, but in all seriousness, obviously they're not happy. I think they've lost 6 in a row now. Swansea, on the other hand, lost 2-0 to Leicester. Leicester were brilliant. They just went at it from the beginning. This game, I think, is another defeat for Newcastle. Simple as. I'm going to say 3-1 Swansea, same as I said last week when Spurs beat them 3-1. Anyway, next game we've got QPR up against West Ham. QPR are starting to look as though they can avoid the drop, but again, there's so many teams fighting down there. I think there's, 3 points separating the bottom 5. Then West Ham lost 2-0 to City. They were pathetic in that game. Their season looks as though it's over. They've got no confidence in Sam Allardyce. For me, I reckon QPR are going to win. I reckon it's going to be 2-0 QPR. In the next game, we've got Stoke up against Sunderland. Sunderland look dead and buried. Again, there's so many sides down there that don't look as though they're going to avoid the drop. So it'll be very interesting to see who actually goes down. Stoke, 2-1 win against Southampton, very, very well fought out, and this is an obvious result. I reckon it's going to be 2-0 to Stoke. In the next game, we've got West Brom going up against Liverpool. Liverpool lost in the semi-finals of the FA Cup against Aston Villa. That was a good game, and Villa probably did deserve to edge it. West Brom, on the other hand, they won 2-0 against Pardew. Good result there for Tony Pulis. Don't think this is going to be easy for Liverpool. I think the sides on current form are quite evenly matched. I reckon it's going to be 1-1. In the next game, we've got Manchester City going up against Aston Villa again. City won 2-0 against West Ham, and you know, you've got Niall Quinn saying they're back, this, that, but that ridiculous own goal, and yeah, their second goal was really good, but West Ham just looked depleted and out of it, so I don't think that's anything to judge it. This will be a fairer result to judge it. Tim Sherwood's done magnificently. Aston Villa should be all but safe from the drop, even though they're only 4 points ahead of it. They should be fine. They're in the final of the FA Cup. That'll give them great confidence. I reckon they can nick a point here at the Etihad. What do you think? I'm going to say 1-1 in this game. In the next game, we've got Everton going up against Man United. Now, we had 70% possession at Stamford Bridge, but we just couldn't find any penetration. You know, Falcao had a few chances, but they were blocked. His season's just been ridiculously unlucky. Now, all 4 of our injuries that were injured at the Chelsea game are injured now. I don't think that's going to have too much bearing. I genuinely believe we are going to win this. I'll have a preview up later out today, so I'll talk more in depth. Everton, they've been very good recently, but the teams they've played haven't been in the top half. I believe of the top 10, they've only beat Swansea and West Ham. So I reckon we can win it at Goodison Park. I'm going to say it's going to be the reverse of when Moyes was sacked last year. We lost 2-0 there. I'm going to say we're going to win 2-0 at Goodison Park. In the next game, we've got Arsenal against Chelsea, the biggest game of this week. Wenger has never beaten Mourinho in 12 games, and I don't think he's going to this time. Arsenal are on their best run of form, 8 games winning, you know, including big wins against Liverpool. That was fantastic, that 4-1. But yeah, they've played some lesser teams, haven't looked amazing. Reading, they scraped through in extra time because of a goalkeeper error. Chelsea scraped a goal against us. Now, if Arsenal do what we did and go all-out attack, which I think Arsenal will, it'll play into Mourinho's hands. If he plays Zuma in midfield, then it's a credit to Arsenal, because like with us, it means Jose Mourinho generally fears the attack of Arsenal, like he did against Manchester United. In all honesty though, I think Wenger, there's a reason he hasn't beat Mourinho, so for me, regardless of form, probably one of the only people to predict this, but I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea. In the next game we've got Hull versus Liverpool. Two sides have already got a game this week, but obviously they have a game in hand. I reckon Liverpool will pick up the win in this game. Hull have been pretty dire, to be honest, and yeah, if Liverpool don't win this, then they might not even get Europa. So I'm going to say 2-0 Liverpool. And the last game of this week, we've got Leicester going up against Chelsea. This will be very interesting. If Leicester beat Burnley, their confidence will be up. If Chelsea do beat Arsenal, like I've predicted, they win the title if they beat Leicester in this game. It's going to be very, very difficult, and you know, I reckon that Chelsea will probably win it, because, you know, if they do beat Arsenal, they'll definitely win this because they'll want to pick up the title instantly. But Leicester will pose a big threat, so I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-0 victory to Chelsea. So we'll compare my results with the Mystery C's. Alright, this week, because there's so many results, it's cramped. Next week, obviously, it'll be back to normal. It'll look a bit better. But anyway, the results are fairly different this week. I mean, 2-2, we both said Southampton versus Spurs. Burnley, he believes will beat Leicester. Palace, we both say Palace will win that one. Newcastle, he thinks they'll get their first point in 7 games, whereas I say they'll lose. QPR, he believes will draw, whereas I say win. Stoke versus Sunderland, we both think Stoke will win 2-0. West Brom Liverpool, he thinks Liverpool will edge it, whereas I say draw. City Aston Villa, he thinks City will destroy Aston Villa regardless of their semi-final win against Liverpool. I reckon it's going to be a draw. Man United Everton, he thinks it'll be a really high scoring game and will just edge it, whereas I say obviously 2-0. Arsenal versus Chelsea, he thinks Chelsea will win 3-1, whereas I say 2-1. Hull versus Liverpool, again, comfortable victories for Liverpool, we both predict. And then he thinks Chelsea will batter Leicester 3-0, whereas I say 1-0. Let me know what your predictions are, let me know what you think of mine. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and yeah, peace.